Greetings, friendos, and welcome back to the Ox Lair. For today's particular presentation, if it wasn't evidenced by the title down below, Big Frank and Old Jack over here, we're going to be taking a look at a new offering from Reese's. Yes. Now, in the past, Reese's has put out a couple of different shapes for their offerings, their Reese's cups, shall we say. And, well, I'll pose this to you folks. When you think Reese's and Halloween, what's the first thing that comes to mind? I'll give you a moment. Yes, the pumpkins are usually what comes to mind for myself as well, considering when I was a child was when they first started producing the Reese's pumpkins. But in later years they added in like the Reese's bats, I believe was in the last couple of years, and I believe they added ghosts just this past year. I could be wrong. But for this year, exclusively, I'll say exclusively because I'm not sure if these are going to come back next year or not, they decided to bring out a new spooky shape. Yes. I present to you all in this crinkly little orange and purple bag, Reese's Skeletons. Ha ha ha. So as you can see from the packaging, the skeletons are in sort of a Day of the Dead kind of pattern, especially the way that they've got the special shape around the eyes, very reminiscent of Day of the Dead skeletons with flowers in the eyes and such. And on the back, we have more of the little skeleton dudes. We'll get to that in a minute. So I've got to say that I'm honestly impressed with the Hershey Company who produced these, because they're just giving us new shapes each year these last couple of years. Also, one thing I've got to say is apparently there's going to be 3 different wrappers on these this year. You may think, but there's only 2 shown on the front. Well, when we look at the back, as I already did unintentionally, there's 3. See, we got one purple, one yellow, and one brown. So before we actually tear into the bag itself, let's go ahead and deal with those nutrition facts, those datos de nutrition, for those calorie conscious, like yours truly. So according to the datos de nutrition, aka nutrition facts, there are about 9 servings per container of these little spookable skeletons. And each serving is approximately 3 pieces or 30 grams. And the amount of calories per your 3-piece 30-gram serving are 150. That's how many Pokemon there were when I was but a little lad and Pokemon was starting to hit big here in the States. 150 and more to see, to be a Pokemon master is his destiny. So let's see, when it comes to the actual sugar content in this, it has 16 grams, including 15 grams of added sugars, for a grand total of 30% of the chocolate. Well, okay then. So getting back to the little spookable skeletons on the back of the wrapper here. Apparently, they're a skeleton of fun. I don't know if there's supposed to be like a joke on here somewhere that I'm just missing on the wrapper. But the one skeleton over here just starts off saying, a skeleton of fun. And the one on the end says, I'd laugh if I had a tongue. You'd also be able to pronounce your L's if you had a tongue. And you'd be able to say the word tongue if you had a tongue. Anyway, so without dilly-dallying, without much further delay, let's go ahead and open up this little baggie and we'll take a look at the little skeleton within. Alright, so I'm gonna just off camera here grab one of each of the little goobers. That's 2. Now where's the third one? There's one. Ha, gotcha. Okay, so now I put the rest down so the heat from my hands doesn't start making the chocolate melt. Put this over here. So as stated, you get 3 different little skeleton people. Let me just try and show them in a way where you can actually see the little doobie goobers. There we go. So you get 3 different ones. You get Mr. Fancy Mustache over here. You get Captain Patch over here with the eye patch. And then you get Count Spookabones. They don't actually have official names, but I'm going to name them right now. Count Spookabones, Captain Eye Patch, and Sir Fancy Mustache. And as you can see, they're not huge by any stretch of the imagination. If I can just use my water bottle here for a little size comparison time. They are roughly the size of my pinky up to the second knuckle, as you can see here. Now when it comes to the actual Reese's pieces, the Reese's candies themselves, I have no idea how well they taste. Are these going to be like the Reese's Christmas lights or the Reese's Easter eggs, where they're nice and juicy? The peanut butter has a lot of juice to them, where they're very wet. Or are these going to be like the Reese's pumpkins of the last couple of years, where it's like a chalky puck of peanut butter in the middle of the chocolate? We're about to find that out together. So I'm going to just make a decision real quick, and we're going to go with which one of you am I going to eat first. We're going to start with Cap'n Patch. Alright, so we put your little friends over here, and we undo the wrapper. Now supposedly, according to the bag, as I already showed, there should be a Skellebones person printed on the chocolate on the front of this candy. So we're about to find that out together. Indeed there is. There's the creepy cute little gooba right there. And so, here we go. First bite. Okay. It's that creamy peanut butter. But there's not a whole lot of it. Hopefully you'll be able to see it somewhat decently right here. It's like the chocolate along the sides and the bottom is much thicker than the chocolate on the top. Regardless, it is a tasty little morsel. Pardon, I need to get a napkin. The chocolate was starting to melt onto my fingertips. So to finish off this serving of the Reese's Peanut Butter Skellebones, let's open up another one. This time we're going with Count Skellebones. I forget already what I called him, but Count Skellebones is what we're going to call him at this point. Because that's something I'm curious about. Are there going to be multiple shapes printed into the chocolate, or is it all going to be the same guy, just wearing a different costume? Which, if you think about it, even as a cost-saving measure, that's kind of brilliant. Yep, it's the same guy, just wearing a different costume. Alright, now let's see if you're going to be as tasty, and if the peanut butter within the chocolate is going to be consistent with that one, or if you're going to have like a dry puck of peanut butter in the middle. Nope, just as creamy as the other one. That's the word I was looking for before, instead of awkwardly saying that they were moist. I cannot say words sometimes. Now this one you can see a little bit better what I was talking about, because I bit a little more cleanly. And I just realized Mr. Fancy Mustache has a curly Q right in the middle of his forehead. Pull that back a little bit so you can actually kind of see it. We're like right there. It's kind of like if they took the weird little dimple on a Buzz Lightyear and put it on his forehead. Now then, as with the other two, let's go ahead and take another look. See if it's the same Skellebones wearing a different costume like the other two. Or could this one actually be a different shape? Nope, it's the exact same. I wasn't expecting better than that, but what have you. This one, we're just going to dive in and toss the whole thing in my mouth. There's just something about that Reese's peanut butter chocolate combination that's just so nice. Alright. So that's all I had for this video. When it comes to the Reese's Skeletons, I do recommend these, especially if you're going to be getting these for your trick-or-treaters. But I would say that if you're going to be getting these to pass out to trick-or-treaters this year, you'll want to grab a couple of bags of these, because this thing is about half full, as you can see. From here down, minus those three, is where all the chocolate is. With that said, though, like I said, I do actually recommend these, especially if you're just a fan of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, and if you just want these to snack on for yourself, I mean, that's like almost the perfect size to just be just enough to whet the old sweet tooth with that chocolatey peanut butter flavor. And with that said, folks, I want to thank you all so very much for tuning back in and watching more of my content. I did that a little early, but I do truly and greatly appreciate it. It warms my cold little black heart that you would come back and watch my content again and again. I do truly appreciate it. And with that said, I will leave you all with this. Viewers beware, and subscribe if you dare.